Many thanks for making a date today on the marketplace. Let's quickly go to our first story. The leadership of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and the Nigerian Association of Traders are currently holding an emergency press briefing at the Opera Square within the central business districts of Accra ahead of the proposed opening of some locked-up shops belonging to some foreigners. Members of the two parties clashed on Monday, which caused some members of the Ghana Electrical Dealers Association to lock down the shops. Let's go live now to the event.
It's a precept of the Ghanaian. Hawking is the precept of the Ghanaian. And that they provided a space, a window of opportunity for the foreigners to come into trading. And what they said is that a foreigner who invests, and even in partnership with the Ghanaian, will have to do so with an amount of 300,000. That was then. And that employed 10 skilled Ghanaians. Then, during our agitations, government have realized that even there are a lot of loopholes in the law and that they wanted to enhance it. So during the previous administration, the Ministry of Trade, headed by Hannah Tete, enhanced this law, formed the committee where all stakeholders, including state institutions, were all represented, and the laws were upgraded and enforced to read that any foreigner who want to come into the retail space will have to invest an amount of $1 million US. $1 million US in kind or in cash. And then you have to also employ 20 skilled Ghanaians. The intention, every law has its intentions and the spirit behind those laws. The spirit and intention behind these laws is that those people who will come into the retail space will be the bigger wholesales, supermarkets, who can employ more people, more Ghanaians into their companies, and also provide, like all international civilized countries are doing, we have shopping malls. That's why we have the ShopRite, we have the Melcoms, we have the Quales, we have the Lovers, we have the Nankani and Hagens, we have Mazamat, we have all these companies, and nobody has come against these people. It is clear, it is so clear that these areas, they are all doing the retail business, but nobody has stood against such organizations for the obvious. It is for this reason that the law that was not made by me, the law that is enshrined in the Constitution, is not being regarded. The people who have been given the mandate to enforce this law look on recklessly without noticing that the implications that this will bring. For 20 years on, we've been fighting against this. But for what is happening now, it seems that it has gotten to a period where the Ghanaian cannot take it any longer. National security, the government should take note of this, and that we don't want any situation to be blamed on GUTA or the trading community. This, if anything happens, then it should be blamed on the state authorities, the institutions that are mandated to carry on their legitimate works. The foreigners who are flouting these laws, they are human beings like ours. They are taking advantage of a country that is sleeping on its laws, a country that is so weak, the country that is so timid on enforcing its laws. It's so disappointing. The foreigners who have come here, they have done nothing wrong to be attacked or to be beaten. And I will not look on, and I will put on my position if any of them is attacked. Like anybody will take advantage at any country when they go. That's what they are also doing. And I will bluntly say this. If your laws are being enforced, it's subjected to abuse, and they are abusing it. Now we are attacking the authorities, and we are not going to sleep on this. We are going to declare the day of the Destiny Day demonstration very soon, where all other laws are not going to be regarded. If our pleas, our protestations, our agitations are not being noticed. Let me take advantage to talk about the ECOWAS protocol. We know we have signed protocols in this country. Normally, we do so with the thinking of our citizens. We do sign protocols with the thinking of the citizens, the needs, the requirements, and the wants of the citizens. We do not sign protocols for signing's sake. There is a Brexit going on in UK, where they have joined even the European Union, where UK have noticed that their country is being overtaken by the Eastern Europeans, the Portuguese, Poland, and all those people going there. They say, we are not going to be part any longer. America, with all its resources, is building walls to protect migrants from coming in, from slipping in. We in Ghana here, we look on. We have our neighboring country, by the records that was given by the ambassador himself of Nigeria, that we have about 7 million Nigerians in this country. And all of these profess their way into the trading space. They have every right to stay in this country, but they have to comply with the norms of the country. Yes. They have every right to stay in this country, I say. They have every right, as much as we also have every right to stay in their country. All civilized countries are guiding against their laws. It is a principle of state. Statehood is about protecting your citizens, safeguarding against the infiltration of unwanted into your citizenry. And that's why we promulgated the the immigration laws. That's why there is the immigration laws. Every country is doing that, and they are doing it so strictly. Why Ghana is left out? Nigeria government about six weeks ago, 6 weeks to 1 month ago, 2 months ago, Nigeria government, the president himself, repatriated 4 Ghanaians. You know what the president said? The president said he has repatriated them because they have had infractions on their immigration laws. What does that tell you? The headquarters of ECOWAS is in Nigeria. And so, for the Nigerian government to have noticed that somebody, a migrant from a fellow West African state, having gone against their laws, having gone against their immigration laws, means that he understands the details of the ECOWAS protocol. He understands the confines and the limits of the ECOWAS protocol. The ECOWAS protocol, what it says is that we should trade among ourselves equally. We should trade among ourselves without any hindrances. We should trade among ourselves freely, without any limitation. But then they provided a caveat The caveat is that after 90 days, you have to go back to your country. This is what have to be educated. We have to do this education to our brothers and sisters who are here with us to understand. But the law said that if one want to come and stay forever and do business like the citizens are doing and all that, one have to go through the due processes of regularization of documents like immigration, fulfilling immigration laws, the resident permit, the work permit, and then if you want to establish your business, then you go for the investment laws, and then you comply with those investment laws. Yes. For the laws, it's so clear that the market is limited to the Ghanaian and nobody else. I say what? The market is limited to the Ghanaian, and the law is so explicit. The law is so explicit on this. Any journalist can go and have this, read it and educate Ghanaians that this is what we have in that. The Constitution of Ghana, the Constitution of Ghana mandates anybody to guide jealously on the abuse or misuse of the Constitution, especially where the laws that are formulated in the Constitution are not being regarded and enforced. Then it mandates and gives the authority and the power to the citizens, then to also help to enforce. And hence, some of the actions that you have seen lately, that having noticed that nothing is being done about this law, that Parliament recently, Parliament itself said that they recognize Parliament, the lawmakers of the country, recognized just recently that the laws should be made to work. They formulated the law. We expect them. We expect them, the authority, the powers that they have as lawmakers, to draw or to call on the institutions that are made to implement these laws to order, to call them as soon as possible if we all want to curb any unpleasant situation in the future. We will plead with the government to, as a matter of urgency, organize an urgency meeting for all stakeholders, for all institutions that are involved, to sit down with us as matter of urgency to give the assurances and let us know their frustrations so that we give all necessary support and help to them. Let the work start working. Otherwise, the plans of Guta will come. Let the laws start working. That's right. Otherwise, the laws as have been planned, the programs as have been planned, the strategies as have been planned by Guta and is being executed everywhere will go. Especially, we are giving a maximum of 2 months based through the intervention of our trade minister, Honorable Alan Chamatin, who is doing all he can to support us. He has called upon us that we should wait on that declaration. He had the intelligence that we are going to declare on this. Let me give you a hint about this Destiny Day demonstration, which will come if the laws are not enforced. It wouldn't be more than 3 months, and we will see this. By our people from all the other regions, our members from all areas, especially Swami people, are even very much annoyed with the leadership that nothing is being done in this regard. The Destiny Day demonstration is going to see chaos in this country. We have never been uncivil, ever. But probably if you push too much, you see the animal in people. Where all other laws of the country are not going to be regarded the same way this law is not being regarded. Where traders are going to refuse payment of taxes. Where we are going to demonstrate, close down our shops and demonstrate on the streets every day till our police are ahead, before shops will be opened. Until this time, I will urge every Ghanaian trader, especially the small traders who ply their trade in Accra and Kumasi and the regional capital, to start buying goods in abundance to stock. Because very soon, when we declare the Destiny Day demonstration, this is what is going to happen. Shops are going to be closed for a long time until our police are ahead. VAT invoices are going to be piled up and bent. We pray and hope that we do not get to this point. At this juncture, I will thank the press who have come here to carry this message to the government. I will thank colleagues who have...
Also, we heard from the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, which is jointly organizing this press conference together with the Nigerian Union of Traders Association. And as part of the outcome of the press conference, GUTA is threatening a Destiny Day demonstration after government fails to meet a 3-month ultimatum to push out the retailers out of the foreign retailers out of the local market. We'll be keeping our ears on the ground and bringing you up to speed with developments later on in our subsequent bulletins. Now to other stories now. And former boss of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, Alex Mould, is ruling out any reduction in petroleum prices even if all of the toll debts are paid today. This follows reports that clearance of the 1.85 billion CD debt could help reduce petroleum prices. George Rafi has more in this report.
Levies on the price build-up of diesel and petrol. This was expected to be used to reduce the toll debts over the years. It later, through the ESLA PLC, issued bonds to help clear the debts. As at the end of April this year, the debt of the total debt was cleared by the ESLA PLC. Some industry watchers have argued that if these debts are cleared, then there could be a strong case made for the levies on diesel and petrol to be removed. But the former GNPC boss, Alex Mould, doesn't think so.
They're not going to be able to do that because they are raising bonds. And the bonds mean that they are raising money today to clear this debt so that we pay it over a period of time. I think the ESLA has a 2024, so that means there's a 6-year or 7-year bond, and I think there's a 10-year bond as well, or a 9-year bond. That means for the remaining 9 years going forward, we will be paying this. So the answer is no. It will be in the price build-up for at least 9 years. And based on what I see, they're going to raise more bonds. So they'll be prolonging the ESLA component in the price build-up. So you and I will be paying this for the next 9 to 10 years at least.
So the toll debt recovery levy on the price build-up of some petroleum products are not going anywhere. And looking at the application of the stabilization levy on the various products, well, maybe you may have to brace yourself to pay more for fuel. That is, if the city doesn't stabilize strongly against the dollar in the coming months.
Meanwhile, energy expert and executive director of the Kumasi Institute of Technology and Environment, KITE, Ishmael Ejekumhene, has raised doubts about the profitability of the Tema oil refinery. According to him, even if the country pays the outstanding debt of over 1.8 billion cedis, the company's assets cannot support the current exposure. His comments comes as the Tema oil refinery has mounted a defense to publications that suggest that the company is on the verge of collapse.
The report, for instance, notes that the liquidity challenge would make it difficult for it to meet its operational expenses like utility bills and insurance premiums, as well as statutory payments. The documents also reveal that TOR is not in good financial position to even pay its debts. It also raises issues with the current asset in paying off these debts. All the scenarios and financial assessment that was captured in the report indicate that TOR is under serious stress. It was clear in the document that the company indeed made a loss of 185 million Ghana cedis as at the end of April this year. But head of finance at the Tema oil refinery, Daniel Appiah, however, believes the challenge would once be over when the 1.5 billion Ghana cedi debt is cleared.
We go to the market to be able to go with a fortified balance sheet, talk with our bankers, they will scrutinize our numbers, realize that those people are not geared as high as they used to be. So we are willing to do business with them, extend credit lines for them to import crude. So yes, that is cleared to really go a long way to really improve our fortune.
However, it is not everyone that believes that the current challenge with TOR has to do with the clearance of this controversial legacy debt, which has been christened the TOR debt.
If the refinery is only going to survive based on the payment of ESLA and things like that, it raises some questions. And for me, what this response brings out is clearly the fact that the energy sector debt keeps piling up because of the fact that we are not clearing the existing legacy debt, because this 50% of that debt, as reported, is due to the fact that there are still losses accruing from the exchange rate and financial charges. We are just adding up to the debt. It's difficult for me to reconcile their position, but bottom line is that I'm not sure it's too profitable as we have been made to understand.
Some have argued that the current operational module of TOR needs to be reviewed. New equipment for its operations, or maybe a new refinery being built for the company. For instance, it is interesting that the company...
All right, so let's cross over again to the Opera Square, where my colleague Charles Aite is standing by for some updates after the press conference.
Hello?
Hello, Charles. Hello, Charles. Charles, so if you can hear me, what exactly is going on now?
All right, so what you can see right now are some agitated local retailers who are just against the order to reopen the shops of these foreign retailers. They are saying that it is just not unfair, it's just not fair on the part of Guta to reopen the shops of all these people. And I think we could try and get some of the people to speak to at the moment. But remember that this very standoff has been here for quite a while now, as people are just not into the entire move by Guta guys. I have one person here. You are not for the opening of these shops. Why?
I'm not in support of opening up the shop. We will insist that they should not open the shop for the foreigners. They should abide by law. In every country, it is law that we used to be in the country with that law.
Of course, Guta has made it clear that this is to foster peace between both local and foreign retailers.
Yes, we are not having any grudges with anybody. Okay, we are not having any grudges with them. What we are saying is that this local market is for the local people. Okay, we are not hustling anything with them.
Sincere apologies for that abrupt end, but of course we'll be following up and bringing you up to speed with the latest developments in our subsequent bulletins. And on that note, we draw the curtains down on the marketplace. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji. We have many thanks for your company. Have a good afternoon.